The 1980s were a time of flashy designs and bold experiments in the automotive world, but not every coupe from this era was a winner. Some were plagued by unreliable engineering, awful performance, or designs that just didn't make sense. These cars didn't just disappoint. They crushed the dreams of drivers everywhere. Here are the 13 coupe cars of the 1980s that left everyone shaking their heads. You won't believe how bad some of these really were. The Chevrolet Camaro IROC Z, manufactured between 1985 and 1990, emerged as a defining symbol of American automotive culture in the 1980s. Its name, derived from the International Race of Champions, wasn't just a marketing ploy. It reflected Chevrolet's intent to create a street-legal car that could channel the spirit of professional racing. The IROC Z's combination of bold aesthetics, innovative engineering, and dynamic performance made it one of the most memorable entries in the third-generation Camaro lineup. The IROC Z's design captured attention instantly. It featured a lowered suspension that gave it a planted, aggressive stance, complemented by aerodynamic enhancements such as a distinctive front air dam and side skirts. Bold IROC Z decals adorned the doors, and blacked-out trim emphasized its performance pedigree. Optional 5-spoke alloy wheels, wide performance tires, and a range of vivid colors, including bright red and black, added to its striking visual appeal. The removable T-top roof panels, a popular option, allowed drivers to enjoy an open-air experience, further enhancing its allure as a weekend cruiser. At its heart, the IROC Z offered a range of potent engine options. Early models featured a 5.0-liter, tuned port injection TPIV8 engine that produced 215 horsepower, a respectable figure for its time. This advanced fuel injection system, developed in collaboration with General Motors performance engineers, ensured smoother throttle response and improved fuel efficiency compared to the carbureted setups of earlier Camaros. In 1987, Chevrolet introduced a more powerful 5.7-liter TPIV8 option, pushing the envelope with up to 240 horsepower and 340 pound-feet of torque. Mated to either a 4-speed automatic or a 5-speed manual transmission, the IROC Z offered a thrilling drive, whether tearing down the quarter-mile or tackling a twisting back road. Handling was another area where the IROC Z shined. Chevrolet equipped it with performance-tuned suspension components, including shorter coil springs, gas-filled shock absorbers, and a beefier sway bar setup. A limited slip differential came standard, ensuring better traction during spirited driving. Unlike earlier muscle cars that focused solely on straight-line speed, the IROC Z was a well-rounded performer capable of cornering with poise, something rare for its time. However, the IROC Z wasn't without its imperfections. The interior, while sporty, fell victim to the cost-cutting measures prevalent during the 1980s. Hard plastics dominated the cabin, and some drivers found the seating position awkward, especially taller individuals who struggled with limited headroom. Visibility was compromised by thick roof pillars, and whine noise became noticeable at highway speeds. Maintenance, particularly on the advanced TPI system, requires specialized knowledge, which could be daunting for less mechanically inclined owners. Despite these flaws, the IROC Z became a cultural icon. It was the dream car of many young enthusiasts, gracing posters, music videos, and even TV shows of the era. Its reputation as a street-legal racer helped Chevrolet attract a new generation of Camaro loyalists. The car also played a pivotal role in revitalizing the muscle car genre, which had suffered a decline during the fuel-conscious 1970s. It wasn't just a car, it was a statement of ambition, style, and power during a decade defined by excess and boldness. One passionate owner reflected on their experience. I remember buying my IROC Z brand new in 1986. Pulling into the dealership, it was like love at first sight. The car looked so aggressive, so modern. Driving it was pure joy. The V8's roar when you stepped on the gas was unforgettable. Sure, it had its quirks, rattling dashboards and seats that wore out faster than they should, but none of that mattered when you hit the open road. Even now, decades later, when I fire it up, it's like stepping back in time to the best days of my life. Today, the IROC Z holds a cherished place in automotive history. As a collector's item, It's valued not only for its performance, but for the nostalgia it evokes. Whether parked at a car show or cruising down memory lane, the Chevrolet Camaro IROC Z continues to turn heads and capture hearts as a true 1980s icon. The Ford Mustang GT from 1982 to 1993, part of the Fox body generation, holds a special place in the history of American muscle cars. At a time when the muscle car era seemed to have faded into the past due to rising fuel prices, stricter emissions laws, and the oil crisis of the 1970s, the Mustang GT helped revive interest in performance cars. With its combination of lightweight design, iconic 5.0-liter V8 engine, and a driving experience that balanced power with handling, it became a fan favorite, cementing its place as one of the most iconic cars of the 80s and 90s. When the Fox body Mustang was introduced in 1979, it was a breath of fresh air for the Mustang name. The car was smaller and more nimble compared to its predecessors, shedding the excess weight that plagued earlier models. While the base Mustang came with smaller engines, it was the GT version, equipped with a 5.0-liter V8, that truly caught the attention of car enthusiasts. This engine, often referred to as the 5.0, quickly became a symbol of performance. It offered solid horsepower, decent torque, and, most importantly, the kind of acceleration that made it feel like a true muscle car again. One of the standout qualities of the Mustang GT was its ability to offer a pure driving experience. The car was designed with a focus on performance, and the balance between power and handling was key to that. Unlike many of the larger, more cumbersome cars of the era, the Fox body Mustang GT felt light on its feet. With its rear-wheel drive layout and responsive steering, the car provided an engaging experience that made it fun to drive on both the street and the track. The suspension, though not the most sophisticated of its time, provided a sporty feel that could handle the occasional corner with ease. It was also a car that allowed for customization, making it a favorite among car tuners and performance enthusiasts. The Mustang GT's styling was distinctive and instantly recognizable. The clean lines, boxy edges, and the classic Mustang profile gave the car an aggressive yet approachable look. The front-end styling, with its sharp, angular headlights and wide grille, immediately signaled that this was a performance car. The rear end, with its iconic tri-bar taillights and dual exhaust outlets, had a distinct appearance that became synonymous with the Mustang GT. Though the design was firmly rooted in the 80s, it still carried that unmistakable Mustang flair, a blend of muscle car aggression and sleek aerodynamic lines. Inside, the Mustang GT was all about the driving experience. The interior wasn't necessarily luxurious, but it was functional and built around the needs of the driver. The simple dashboard layout was straightforward, with easy-to-read gauges and controls that placed everything within reach. The seats, though not overly plush, were supportive enough to keep you comfortable during spirited driving sessions. The cabin had a minimalist design that didn't distract from the task at hand: driving. The shift lever felt solid in the hand, and the gear ratios of the manual transmission gave the car a connected feel to the road. Despite the lack of refinement compared to luxury vehicles, the Mustang GT's interior exuded a sense of purpose. It was meant to be driven, not coddled. But the true magic of the Mustang GT lay under the hood. The 5.0-liter V8 engine delivered more than enough power to make the car exciting. In an era when many performance cars were being tamed by emissions regulations, the Mustang GT was still a true muscle car at heart. It could accelerate quickly, break the tires loose, and offer an authentic driving experience that was hard to match at the time. With 225 horsepower in the early 80s models and improvements in later years, the 5.0-liter engine allowed the Mustang GT to go toe-to-toe with much more expensive sports cars. A 1989 Mustang GT owner shared his experience. "I've owned my Mustang GT for over 20 years now, and it still gives me a thrill every time I take it out for a spin. It might not be as fast as modern cars, but the way it feels when you hit the gas, that deep growl from the V8, it's something you just don't get with today's cars." The Fox body Mustang GT was all about raw performance. There's nothing else like it. The Mustang GT wasn't just about the power, it was about the culture it created. As car enthusiasts began to modify their cars, the Mustang GT became a favorite for tuners. The aftermarket for Fox body parts was vast, giving owners countless options for performance upgrades. From headers and exhausts to camshafts and suspension systems, the Mustang GT was highly customizable. This made it not just a car, but a canvas for personal expression. Many Mustang owners saw the car as a platform to showcase their skills in tuning and modifying, creating unique builds that range from street racers to show cars. The Porsche 944 Turbo, produced from 1985 to 1991, is one of the most revered models in Porsche's history, offering a compelling combination of performance, design, and affordability by Porsche standards. This front-engine coupe was designed to be the perfect balance between daily driver and performance car, and it lived up to that promise, leaving a lasting impact on the automotive world. The 944 Turbo was built on the same platform as the standard 944, which was already praised for its handling. However, Porsche engineers took it a step further with the Turbo, adding a turbocharged 2.5-liter inline-4 engine that produced between 220 and 250 horsepower, depending on the model year. This increase in power transformed the 944 from a solid sports car into a true performance machine. The turbocharged engine offered an exhilarating driving experience, with enough power to keep up with more expensive competitors, while still maintaining the manageable driving dynamics that Porsche was known for. One of the standout features of the Porsche 944 Turbo was its near-perfect weight distribution. Unlike many other sports cars of the era, which were prone to understeering or oversteering, the 944 Turbo's front-engine, rear-wheel drive layout, combined with its balanced weight distribution, made it exceptionally stable and predictable. This made the car feel agile and responsive on twisty roads or tight corners, earning it praise for its handling from automotive journalists and enthusiasts alike. In fact, many driving purists consider the 944 Turbo to be one of the best handling cars of its era, with a confidence-inspiring level of grip and control. While the 944 Turbo was a sports car, it wasn't just about raw speed. The car's chassis was well-engineered for a smooth, composed ride, while the suspension offered excellent damping, allowing the car to absorb imperfections in the road without sacrificing performance. This made it a more refined alternative to some of its competitors, with many drivers appreciating the 944 Turbo for being both fun on a twisty mountain road and comfortable enough for everyday use. The design of the 944 Turbo was unmistakably Porsche. It had a sleek, aerodynamic profile that was elegant without being ostentatious. The front end was dominated by Porsche's signature round headlights, while the long, flowing lines of the body gave the car a sense of purpose and speed, even when it was standing still. The rear end was clean, with a sloping roofline that added to the car's sporty aesthetic. Inside, the 944 Turbo had a minimalist yet luxurious feel, with a well-appointed interior that featured leather seats, a simple dashboard, and a functional center console. The cockpit was designed with the driver in mind, offering clear visibility and controls that were intuitive to use, enhancing the driving experience. The Porsche 944 Turbo was also notable for being more affordable than its 911 counterparts, making it an attractive option for buyers looking for a high-performance Porsche without the astronomical price tag. In the 1980s and early 1990s, this made the 944 Turbo an appealing alternative for those who wanted the Porsche experience but couldn't quite stretch to the 911's price. Despite its lower price, the 944 Turbo still offered a level of quality and performance that was on par with the more expensive models in the Porsche lineup, further cementing its reputation as one of the best sports cars of its era. For owners of the Porsche 944 Turbo, the car became more than just a means of transportation. It was a passion project. A 944 Turbo owner recalled, "I bought my 944 Turbo when I was looking for something that was both practical and thrilling. It didn't disappoint. The handling is unlike anything else I've driven, and the turbocharged engine still puts a smile on my face every time I step on the gas. It's a car that really makes you feel connected to the road." The 944 Turbo's turbocharged engine, combined with its handling prowess, made it a standout in a time when many sports cars were focused more on straight-line speed than on handling. It could hold its own on the track, but it was just as enjoyable on a winding back road or even on the highway, where its smooth, effortless power delivery made long-distance drives a breeze. Its refinement, balance, and responsive steering made it a joy to drive, whether on a race course or a casual Sunday drive. However, the 944 Turbo wasn't without its challenges. Like many cars of the era, it was prone to some maintenance issues, particularly with the turbocharged engine, which required careful attention to avoid costly repairs. The timing belt and water pump needed to be replaced at regular intervals, and some owners reported electrical and oil leak issues. That said, when properly maintained, the 944 Turbo proved to be a reliable and durable sports car, with many examples still on the road today. The Toyota Supra Mk3, produced from 1986 to 1993, remains one of the most iconic sports cars of the 1980s and early 1990s, known for its advanced technology, impressive performance, and robust build quality. As the third generation of the Supra lineup, the Mk3 was designed to evolve from its predecessors and solidify Toyota's reputation as a manufacturer of high-performance Grand Tourers. It would go on to set the stage for the legendary Mk4 Supra that followed, but the Mk3 earned its place in automotive history in its own right. One of the standout features of the Mk3 Supra was its 7M GTE turbocharged inline-six engine, which provided a thrilling combination of power and refinement. The turbocharged version of the 7M engine produced around 230 horsepower, which was impressive for the time, and allowed the Supra to accelerate briskly and maintain high speeds on the highway. With a 0 to 60 mile/hour time of around 6 seconds, the Mk3 Supra was competitive with other sports cars of the era, offering a blend of performance that appealed to both enthusiasts and casual drivers alike. The Supra's engine wasn't just about power, it was engineered for smoothness and durability. The 7M GTE engine had an advanced intercooler system, which helped it achieve both high power and efficient performance. Combined with the car's smooth 6-speed manual transmission, the Supra felt perfectly balanced on the road, making it enjoyable to drive in a variety of conditions. But what really set the Mk3 Supra apart from other sports cars of the time was its focus on advanced technology. Toyota equipped the Supra with a number of features that were ahead of its time, many of which are still seen as cutting edge today. The electronically adjustable suspension, for example, allowed the driver to tailor the car's handling to their preferences, offering a comfortable ride on the highway while stiffening up for more spirited driving on twisty roads or at the track. This made the Supra incredibly versatile, capable of tackling everything from long road trips to high-performance driving without skipping a beat. In addition to its technological sophistication, the Mk3 Supra was designed with a focus on comfort and refinement. The car's interior was spacious for a sports coupe, offering ample legroom and a comfortable seating position. The cockpit featured well-organized controls, a clean dashboard, and high-quality materials, contributing to the Supra's reputation as a luxury sports car. Features like power windows, a premium sound system, and air conditioning made the Supra as comfortable as it was exciting to drive, appealing to a broader audience of drivers who wanted both performance and everyday usability. The Supra Mk3's styling also played a key role in its appeal. The car featured sleek, aerodynamic lines that gave it a sense of speed even when it was stationary. The front end had a wide, aggressive stance, with sharp headlights and a bold grille, while the rear featured a prominent spoiler that hinted at the car's performance potential. It was a design that was distinctly 80s, with bold angles and shapes that gave it a futuristic, muscular look. The car's design balanced performance with sophistication, making it just as striking on the road as it was on the showroom floor. The Mk3 Supra was not just about raw performance, but also about the driving experience. Toyota engineered the car's chassis to offer a smooth, controlled ride, while the suspension allowed for precise handling and excellent cornering capabilities. This made the Supra a joy to drive on winding roads, providing a sense of connection between the driver and the road that was hard to find in other cars of the era. It was a grand tourer in the truest sense, capable of delivering both comfort and performance in equal measure. Many owners of the Mk3 Supra have shared their admiration for the car over the years. One owner recalled, "I bought my Mk3 Supra in the late 80s, And it was a game changer. It had power, technology, and style. Everything I wanted in a sports car. The handling was so precise and the turbo engine made it feel like I was driving something special every time I got behind the wheel. Another owner added, "I still have mine today. The Supra MK3 never felt old to me. The performance is timeless, and it still turns heads whenever I take it out." Despite being overshadowed by its successor, the MKIV Supra, the MKI remains an important piece of Toyota's sports car legacy. Its combination of turbocharged power, advanced technology, and luxurious comfort made it one of the best grand tours of its time, and its influence can still be seen in modern performance cars today. For many automotive enthusiasts, the MK3 Supra represents the golden era of Japanese performance cars, a perfect blend of style, speed, and sophistication that still captures hearts and imaginations decades later. The BMW E30 M3, produced from 1986 to 1991, is one of the most revered cars in automotive history, often regarded as the definitive performance coupe of its era. Based on the standard 3 Series, the E30 M3 was engineered to be a high-performance variant that could dominate on both the street and the racetrack. Its combination of precision engineering, aggressive styling, and exhilarating driving dynamics made it an instant legend and laid the foundation for the M3's ongoing success. What truly sets the E30 M3 apart is its racing pedigree. BMW developed the car with motorsport in mind, and its success on the track, particularly in touring car racing, helped cement its iconic status. The E30 M3 was specifically designed to meet homologation requirements for racing, which meant it had to be produced in sufficient numbers for use in events like the German Touring Car Championship DTM. The E30 M3's success on the racetrack was undeniable, winning countless championships and races and establishing the M3 as one of the most successful models in BMW's history. At the heart of the E30 M3 was its engine, a 2.3-liter, 4-cylinder S14 engine, which was developed specifically for the M3. The engine produced 192 horsepower in the standard European version, with more power available in special editions. In the United States, the car was detuned to meet emissions regulations, but even with the lower output, the E30 M3 was still thrilling to drive. The engine's high revving nature and excellent throttle response made it feel alive, while its lightweight construction contributed to the car's nimble handling. One of the defining characteristics of the E30 M3 is its remarkable driving dynamics. Thanks to a perfectly balanced chassis, rear-wheel drive, and a limited slip differential, the car was an absolute joy to drive, offering a level of precision that many other cars of the time couldn't match. Its compact, boxy design, which was somewhat unconventional for a performance coupe, contributed to its agility, making it feel quick and responsive through corners. The E30 M3's handling was considered revolutionary for its time, offering a level of driver involvement that few cars could match. Whether on the street or on the track, the E30 M3 was incredibly communicative, giving the driver confidence and feedback in every turn. The car's steering was also highly regarded, offering a direct and responsive feel that made the E30 M3 feel more like an extension of the driver's body than a machine. Combined with its lightweight construction and low center of gravity, the M3 was able to change direction with remarkable ease. This made it not only a great car for everyday driving, but also an incredibly capable track weapon that could outperform cars with much higher power outputs. Beyond performance, the E30 M3 offered a relatively refined driving experience. Inside, the car featured a driver-focused interior with supportive sports seats, a simple but functional dashboard, and excellent visibility. While not overly luxurious, the interior was comfortable and well-appointed, with high-quality materials used throughout. The car's ergonomics made it a pleasant place to spend time, whether you were on a spirited drive through the countryside or taking it for a long weekend road trip. The E30 M3's boxy, angular design remains iconic to this day. Its wide fenders, aggressive front bumper, and rear spoiler gave the car a purposeful stance that hinted at its performance capabilities. The flared wheel arches accommodated wider tires, which further emphasized its sporty intentions. The car's relatively small footprint and compact dimensions contributed to its agility and added to its charm. The E30 M3's styling was unmistakably that of the era, and it's a design that has aged remarkably well, with many enthusiasts still admiring its clean, purposeful lines. Owners of the E30 M3 are typically passionate about their cars, and many consider it one of the best driving machines ever made. One owner of a European model recalled, "There's something magical about the way the E30 M3 drives. It feels like it was built for the track, but also perfect for everyday driving. The steering, the handling, the engine. It's a complete package." Another owner of an American spec version added, "Even with the lower horsepower in the US model, the car still feels incredible. It's a true driver's car, and there's a reason it has such a cult following." The E30 M3 remains one of the most iconic sports sedans, coupes in automotive history. Its combination of high-revving performance, extraordinary handling, and motorsport pedigree set it apart from many of its competitors and made it the standard by which all other sports coupes were measured. Even decades after its production ended, the E30 M3 continues to be celebrated by enthusiasts, and it remains an emblem of what makes driving an unforgettable experience. The Pontiac Fiero GT, produced between 1985 and 1988, was an ambitious project that aimed to bring the allure of a mid-engine sports car to the masses. With its sleek styling and unique layout, it promised to offer a Ferrari-like experience at a much more affordable price. Although the Fiero GT had its fair share of challenges, it remains an iconic and interesting part of American automotive history. At the heart of the Fiero GT's appeal was its mid-engine layout, a design typically associated with high-performance exotic cars like Ferrari and Lamborghini. In theory, this configuration offered better weight distribution and improved handling compared to traditional front-engine cars, giving the Fiero GT a more dynamic driving experience. The mid-engine design, combined with the car's compact dimensions, made it feel agile and responsive on the road, especially when navigating tight corners. It wasn't just a novelty either. The car's handling was a notable strength, offering a sharp, connected feel that was unusual for American cars of the era. The exterior design of the Fiero GT was another standout feature. With its low, wide stance, angular body, and sleek profile, it looked every bit the sports car. The use of a fastback rear window and the aggressive front and rear fascias helped the Fiero GT stand out from other cars on the road. It had a distinct, futuristic look that was ahead of its time, and many enthusiasts praised it for looking far more expensive than it actually was. The Fiero GT's styling, in fact, gave it a touch of exotic flair, making it easy to imagine it as a far pricier car than its modest MSRP suggested. Under the hood, the Fiero GT was equipped with a 2.8-liter V6 engine that produced around 135 horsepower. While this wasn't a huge number by modern standards, it was more than enough to give the Fiero GT a spirited performance. The car could accelerate briskly and had a top speed of around 125 miles per hour. For the time, these were respectable figures, and the V6 engine offered a smooth and pleasant driving experience. The Fiero GT's rear-wheel drive layout, combined with the mid-engine setup, provided a balanced and fun driving experience that was rare in cars of its price range. The handling, though not at the level of more expensive exotic cars, was definitely a highlight, with precise steering and a nimble feel that made it enjoyable to push hard on twisty roads. However, despite its promise, the Fiero GT was not without its problems. One of the major issues with the early versions of the Fiero was reliability. The car was initially plagued by engine and transmission problems, as well as issues with the car's electrical system. The reliability of the Fiero was often called into question, with many owners experiencing early mechanical failures that tarnished its reputation. This became a significant hurdle for the Fiero GT, as it could have been a more desirable model if not for these setbacks. Another area where the Fiero GT struggled was its interior. While it was relatively comfortable, the interior quality left much to be desired. With cheap materials and a somewhat cramped cabin, the seating was a bit tight for taller individuals, and the overall cabin design felt utilitarian compared to the exterior's exotic appeal. Despite this, it was a functional interior, with basic amenities and good visibility, but it wasn't quite as refined as some of the European competitors. Despite these issues, the Fiero GT managed to find a passionate group of enthusiasts who appreciated its potential and unique characteristics. One Fiero owner recalled, "When I first saw the Fiero GT, I couldn't believe it was an American car. It looked like something you'd expect from Italy. Sure, it had some early reliability problems, but when it was running right, it was a blast to drive." Another owner commented, "I've had my Fiero GT for years now, and I love how it handles. It's not a Ferrari, but it's a lot of fun on a twisty road. The mid-engine layout makes it feel so different from anything else out there." Though the Fiero GT's production was relatively short-lived, its legacy persists. Many consider it an underrated gem, a car that was ahead of its time but hampered by early production issues. In the years following its discontinuation, the Fiero GT has become a cult classic, with enthusiasts appreciating its unique combination of design, performance, and the rare mid-engine configuration in an affordable American car. Today, the Fiero GT enjoys a loyal following and is seen as a symbol of Pontiac's daring attempt to build an affordable sports car. Despite its imperfections, the Fiero GT's distinctive look, handling prowess, and exotic styling continue to capture the hearts of automotive enthusiasts around the world. The Nissan 300Z Voiture X Z31, produced from 1983 to 1989, marked a bold evolution in the Z car lineage, introducing more technology, sophistication, and performance than its predecessors. As a sleek, high-tech sports coupe, the Z31 took the Z car philosophy into the 1980s, blending advanced features with a refined design that appealed to both driving enthusiasts and tech lovers. One of the standout features of the 300ZX was its sleek, aerodynamic design. The car adopted a more rounded, sculpted look compared to the boxier and more angular lines of the previous 280ZX, giving it a more modern and aggressive presence on the road. The 300ZX also offered a more refined, luxury-oriented approach, with smoother lines, retractable headlights, and a slightly larger footprint that added a touch of elegance to its sporty stance. Under the hood, the Z31 was offered with a range of engines, but it was the turbocharged models that truly set it apart. The turbocharged 300ZX featured a 3.0-liter V6 engine, which produced around 200 horsepower, making it one of the most powerful cars in its class at the time. This boost in performance allowed the Z31 to deliver a thrilling driving experience, with impressive acceleration and a top speed that rivaled some of the best sports cars of the 80s. The car's turbocharged engine also allowed for better low-end torque, making it feel more responsive in everyday driving conditions. Despite being slightly heavier than earlier Z cars, the 300ZX still retained the agile handling characteristics that had made the Z series famous. One of the standout technological features of the Nissan 300ZX was its digital dashboard. The car's instrument panel featured a fully electronic, customizable display with digital gauges that conveyed vital information such as speed, fuel level, and engine performance. This cutting-edge technology was emblematic of the 80s, an era when digital displays were becoming increasingly popular in cars, giving the 300ZX a futuristic vibe that helped it stand out from the competition. The dashboard wasn't just a gimmick, it offered a level of customization and readability that was ahead of its time, though it did take some getting used to for drivers accustomed to traditional analog gauges. Another feature that reflected the 80s excess was the Z31's T-top roof, which became a defining characteristic of the car. The T-top allowed drivers to enjoy an open-air driving experience, but without the bulkiness of a full convertible. For enthusiasts, this added an extra layer of excitement to the driving experience, allowing them to enjoy the rush of wind and sun while still maintaining the structural integrity of a hardtop coupe. It was a perfect fit for a car designed for both performance and style, giving it a distinctly sporty yet luxurious feel. In terms of handling, the Z31 was praised for its well-balanced chassis and refined suspension system. The car's suspension allowed it to handle corners with precision while still providing a smooth ride on the highway, making it a versatile option for those who wanted a car that could perform on both twisty roads and long-distance drives. The steering was responsive and precise, offering excellent feedback to the driver. Despite the added weight of the technology and luxury features, the 300ZX still managed to deliver the sharp driving dynamics that Nissan's Z-Car lineage was known for. The interior of the 300ZX was a departure from the more Spartan designs of its predecessors. The cabin featured high-quality materials, with comfortable seating and a more luxurious feel than previous Z-Cars. Leather upholstery, power-adjustable seats, and a well-designed center console were all part of the package. While it wasn't as plush as some European sports cars, the 300ZX offered a nice balance between performance and comfort, making it suitable for longer drives without sacrificing the fun-to-drive nature of a sports car. While the Z31 300ZX was generally well regarded for its technological advancements and performance, it wasn't without its drawbacks. Some critics pointed out that, compared to its competitors like the Toyota Supra or Mazda RX-7, the 300ZX's handling could be a bit less sharp, particularly on the non-turbo models. Additionally, the digital dashboard, while futuristic, could be seen as a bit difficult to read at times, particularly in bright sunlight. Maintenance costs for the turbocharged versions were also higher, as they required more attention due to the complexity of the turbo system. Still, the Nissan 300ZX became a beloved model among enthusiasts, and its blend of performance, technology, and style made it a standout vehicle of the 80s. One 300ZX owner recalled, "When I got my turbocharged 300ZX in the late 80s, I felt like I was driving a spaceship. The digital dashboard was like nothing I had ever seen before. The car was fast, comfortable, and had that signature Z-Car handling." The Ferrari Testarossa, produced from 1984 to 1991, stands as one of the most iconic and visually striking supercars ever to grace the streets. Designed to represent the pinnacle of Italian automotive engineering, the Testarossa was a dramatic and powerful machine that made a lasting impact on both the automotive world and pop culture. With its sharp wedge-shaped silhouette and signature side strakes, it became the quintessential poster car of the 1980s, symbolizing excess, speed, and elegance. The Testarosa's design was a bold departure from Ferrari's previous models. Pininfarina, Ferrari's longtime design partner, crafted a car that was both futuristic and menacing. Its wide, low stance and angular bodywork gave it an aggressive presence on the road, while the distinctive rear side strakes, which served as both a design element and a functional cooling feature for the engine, became one of the car's most defining characteristics. The design was not just about looks. Its low center of gravity and wide track contributed to a level of handling that would define Ferrari's performance legacy for years to come. At the heart of the Testarossa was its mighty 4.9-liter flat 12 engine. Producing an impressive 390 horsepower and a top speed of over 180 miles per hour, it was a powerhouse capable of exhilarating acceleration and mind-blowing performance. The flat 12 engine was an engineering marvel, offering smooth power delivery and a distinctive exhaust note that became synonymous with Ferrari's racing pedigree. With the engine mounted in a mid-engine configuration, the Testarossa offered incredible balance and handling. It was a car that felt alive on the road, with every twist of the steering wheel and every press of the accelerator sending a rush of power to the rear wheels. Performance was where the Testarossa truly excelled. With a 0 to 60 mile-per-hour time of around 5.2 seconds, it was among the fastest cars in the world at the time, and its handling was a revelation. The car's suspension, based on Ferrari's racing expertise, allowed it to glide through corners with precision and stability. It wasn't just a straight-line rocket. The Testarossa could tackle tight bends and sweeping curves with ease, offering an experience that combined the rawness of a race car with the refinement of a luxury machine. Inside, the Testarossa featured a cabin that balanced performance-focused design with luxury. The interior was minimalistic but high quality, with leather seats, refined detailing, and simple yet functional controls. The driving position was purposeful, with everything placed ergonomically to enhance the experience for the driver. Despite its performance-oriented focus, the Testarossa still offered a level of comfort and luxury expected from a car of its stature. However, while the interior was luxurious, it was the driving experience that truly set the Testarossa apart from other supercars of its time. The Testarosa's popularity wasn't limited to car enthusiasts and collectors. It became a cultural icon, thanks in no small part to its starring role in the hit TV show, Miami Vice. The show's protagonist, Detective Sonny Crockett, drove a white Testarossa, cementing the car's status as a symbol of wealth, style, and power. For many, the Testarossa wasn't just a car, it was an aspiration, an unattainable dream that represented the height of success and glamour. Its dramatic design and jaw-dropping performance made it an object of desire for anyone with an appreciation for the finest in automotive engineering. However, despite its performance and cultural significance, the Testarossa was not without its challenges. Like many high-performance cars of the era, it had reliability issues. The complexity of its engine and its exotic components meant that it required regular maintenance and careful attention to keep running at its best. Fuel economy was another concern. While not as relevant for buyers in the market for a supercar, the Testarosa's thirst for fuel was a downside that limited its practicality as a daily driver. Additionally, its wide dimensions made it difficult to maneuver in tight spaces, making urban driving a bit of a challenge. One of the unique aspects of owning a Ferrari Testarossa was the feedback from enthusiasts and collectors who had the opportunity to drive or own one. A longtime owner remarked, "The first time you fire up that engine, it's an experience you'll never forget. The sound alone makes you feel like you're in a race car. It's not just about the speed, it's the whole experience. The handling, the looks, the roar of that engine, it's everything a Ferrari should be." Another owner recalled, "I've had a few supercars, but the Testarossa is different. It demands attention when you drive it, and you feel like you're in something special. The handling is sharp, and the way it hugs the road is unreal. It's not just a car, it's a statement." The Mazda RX-7 FC, produced from 1985 to 1992, represents one of the most iconic and beloved sports cars in automotive history. Building upon the success of the first-generation RX-7, the FC generation took Mazda's rotary engine technology and performance capabilities to new heights. With its sleek, refined design, innovative rotary engine, and exceptional handling, the RX-7 became a cult favorite among driving enthusiasts, racing fans, and collectors. One of the defining features of the RX-7 FC was its innovative rotary engine. Mazda's Wankel rotary engine, which was compact and lightweight, offered a distinctive power delivery compared to traditional piston engines. The FC RX-7 featured both naturally aspirated and turbocharged versions of the 1.3-liter rotary engine, with the turbocharged variant producing a respectable 200 horsepower. While the engine's power output may not have been as high as some of its competitors, it was the unique nature of the rotary engine, coupled with its high revving capabilities, that gave the RX-7 a thrilling driving experience. The engine's smoothness and responsiveness made it an ideal choice for enthusiasts looking for a car with character and performance. The RX-7's lightweight design and exceptional handling were key reasons why it became a favorite in motorsports, especially in racing and drifting circles. The second-generation RX-7 featured a balanced 50-50 weight distribution, giving it near-perfect handling characteristics. The chassis was designed to be both rigid and agile, making the car incredibly responsive to driver input. Whether on the track or winding mountain roads, the RX-7 felt like an extension of the driver, offering precise steering and outstanding cornering ability. Its low center of gravity, thanks to the rotary engine's compact design, contributed to its exceptional stability, especially during high-speed maneuvers. These attributes made the RX-7 a formidable competitor in motorsports, and it became a fixture in events like the 24 Hours of Le Mans and other endurance races. Performance was at the core of the RX-7's appeal, but the FC generation also introduced a more refined and comfortable driving experience compared to its predecessor. The exterior design of the FC RX-7 was more modern and aerodynamic, featuring sharp lines, a sleek profile, and pop-up headlights that gave it a distinctively 80s look. Inside, the cockpit was focused on the driver, with a layout that prioritized ergonomics and ease of use. The dashboard featured a simple and clean design with easy-to-read gauges and controls. Despite its focus on performance, the RX-7 also offered a more comfortable ride than many other sports cars of the time, with improved sound insulation and a more refined suspension system. One of the most notable aspects of the RX-7FC's legacy is its place in motorsports, particularly in drifting. The car's balanced chassis, rear-wheel drive, and lightweight construction made it an ideal candidate for the sport, and the RX-7 quickly became a favorite among drifting enthusiasts. Its ability to slide smoothly through corners with ease, combined with the high-revving nature of the rotary engine, made it a dominant force in the sport, particularly in Japan. The RX-7FC's performance and agility also made it a popular choice for tuning, with aftermarket modifications helping to unlock even more power and precision. Owner reviews of the Mazda RX-7FC often highlight the car's unique combination of performance and fun. A longtime RX-7 owner commented, "There's nothing quite like the feeling of hitting the throttle in an RX-7. The engine is unlike any other. It sounds incredible, and the way it revs so quickly makes every drive an experience. The handling is just so sharp. It's a car that demands to be driven hard." Another owner who participated in both track events and drifting noted, "The RX-7 was always the car that felt the most in tune with the road. It was light, quick, and so responsive that it was hard to not get addicted to it. It was also super fun to modify, and there are so many ways to personalize the experience, whether it's for track days or drifting." Despite its incredible performance and devoted following, the RX-7FC faced challenges in terms of reliability. The rotary engine, while unique and thrilling, required proper maintenance and care. Over time, some owners experienced issues with engine seals, leading to oil consumption problems. Additionally, the rotary engine's thirst for fuel and the need for regular maintenance of its apex seals made it a car that demanded attention. However, for those who understood the quirks of the RX-7 and invested in regular upkeep, the car delivered an unparalleled driving experience. In terms of its legacy, the RX-7FC remains one of the most revered sports cars from the 1980s and 1990s. Its distinctive rotary engine, agile handling, the Volkswagen Scirocco Mark II, produced from 1981 to 1992, stands as one of the most iconic compact sports coupes of its time. As a follow-up to the original Scirocco, the Mark II retained its predecessor's sporty ethos, but improved upon its design and performance, making it a more refined option for driving enthusiasts. Whether it was the sharp handling, the practical yet fun-to-drive nature, or its distinctly European styling, the Scirocco Mark II earned a devoted following and remains a nostalgic favorite among car enthusiasts. One of the standout features of the Scirocco Mark II was its exceptional handling. The car was designed with a focus on driver involvement, offering a light and responsive feel on the road. Volkswagen engineered the Mark II to offer a well-balanced ride, thanks to its front-wheel drive layout and precise steering. It excelled in tight corners and winding roads, giving drivers a level of control and agility that made it a true joy to drive. The MK2 also featured a low squat stance that contributed to its stability and confidence on the road, making it feel planted during spirited driving. Under the hood, the Scirocco MK2 offered a variety of engine options, including both naturally aspirated and turbocharged variants. The most popular of these was the 1.8-liter inline-4 engine, which offered a good balance of power and fuel efficiency. For those seeking more performance, the Scirocco 16Vi model featured a 1.8-liter engine with 16 valves, providing more horsepower and a slightly higher top speed. The turbocharged models, particularly the G60, offered the most performance-oriented option, with a supercharged 1.8-liter engine that boosted the car's output and provided a much-needed performance boost. While not the fastest car in its class, the Scirocco Mark II made up for it with excellent handling and a fun-to-drive personality. The styling of the Scirocco Mark II was another key aspect of its appeal. With its sharp, angular lines, the M2 was unmistakably 80s in design, but still retained a timeless quality that helped it stand out. The front end of the car featured narrow wraparound headlights, which gave it a sleek and aggressive look. The body was compact yet muscular, with pronounced wheel arches and a sporty roofline. This design language helped set the Scirocco apart from its competitors, offering a more European, sophisticated option in a market flooded with often bulky Japanese and American designs. Inside, the Scirocco MK2 offered a driver-centric cabin with a simple, functional layout. The sports seats provided good support for spirited driving, and the dashboard featured clear, easy-to-read gauges. Although the cabin wasn't as luxurious as some of its rivals, the Scirocco MK2 made up for it with its driver-focused approach. The rear seats were tight, and the coupe's small size meant there wasn't much space for passengers. But this was to be expected in a performance-oriented vehicle. The MK2's combination of sharp handling, stylish design, and reasonable pricing made it a hit among car enthusiasts. It was an accessible alternative to more expensive performance coupes from brands like BMW or Audi, but still delivered on driving excitement. It also offered an excellent balance between practicality and performance, providing a comfortable daily driving experience without sacrificing too much in terms of excitement. Owner reviews of the Volkswagen Scirocco Mark II frequently highlight its reliability and fun factor. Many owners praise its longevity and ease of maintenance. One owner shared, "I've had my Scirocco Mark II for over 10 years now, and it still drives like it did when I first got it. It's a simple car, but that's what makes it great. The handling is unbelievable, and it's perfect for weekend drives." Another owner who had driven the Scirocco for years added, "The Scirocco was always a car that felt connected to the road. It wasn't the fastest or most powerful, but it was so well balanced that it made every drive enjoyable. It's definitely one of the best cars I've owned." However, like most vehicles of its era, the Scirocco Mark II did have its share of issues. Some owners have mentioned rust problems, especially in areas where the paint had chipped or where moisture could collect. Electrical gremlins also occasionally plagued the MK2, with some drivers encountering issues with components like the alternator, power windows, or central locking system. Nonetheless, these problems were often easy to fix, and many owners were able to keep their cars running smoothly for years with regular maintenance. In terms of its legacy, the Scirocco Mark II continues to hold a special place in the hearts of many car enthusiasts. Its blend of style, performance, and handling made it one of the best sport compacts of the 1980s, and it remains a favorite of those who appreciate understated European performance. Even today, the MK2 enjoys a cult following, with many enthusiasts restoring. The Buick Grand National GNX, produced in 1987, remains one of the most iconic American performance cars of the 1980s, and for good reason. Built as a high-performance variant of the Buick Regal, the GNX was a turbocharged powerhouse that caught the attention of car enthusiasts, both for its raw performance and its distinctive, menacing styling. A true sleeper car, the GNX's subdued, blacked-out appearance concealed the immense power lurking beneath the hood, allowing it to quietly dominate the streets and the drag strip. Under the hood, the GNX was powered by a 3.8-liter turbocharged V6 engine, which was capable of producing 276 horsepower and 360 pound-feet of torque. Although these numbers might not seem massive by today's standards, the GNX's performance was nothing short of extraordinary at the time. The turbocharged V6 was paired with a 4-speed automatic transmission, delivering power to the rear wheels. This setup allowed the GNX to accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just around 5.0 seconds, a blistering time for the era, and it could cover the quarter mile in the low 13-second range, easily outrunning many of its more high-profile contemporaries, including the Corvette. What truly set the GNX apart was its ability to provide both raw speed and a refined driving experience. The suspension and handling were specially tuned for high performance, and it featured upgraded brakes and an enhanced rear axle for better stability and control at high speeds. The GNX's performance was further amplified by its turbo-hydromatic transmission, which gave it rapid acceleration and smooth shifts. Despite being a muscle car, the GNX could be surprisingly comfortable for daily driving, with a ride that was firm but not harsh, thanks to its well-calibrated suspension system. Visually, the Buick Grand National GNX was all about stealthy aggression. The car was entirely painted in a sinister black hue, with a blacked-out grille, dark wheels, and subtle GNX badges that hinted at its performance prowess. This monochrome scheme gave the car an understated, almost mysterious appearance, further contributing to its sleeper status. The GNX also featured wider tires and a more aggressive stance compared to the standard Grand National, adding to its performance-oriented look. There was no mistaking the GNX for anything other than a high-performance machine, even if it looked like a more sedate luxury car at first glance. Inside, the GNX maintained the Regal's refined cabin, but added a few sporty touches to remind you that this was no ordinary Buick. The seats were upholstered in black leather with the GNX logo embossed on them, and the dashboard featured distinctive gauges to monitor the car's turbo boost and other performance metrics. The interior wasn't overly flashy, but it had everything a performance driver needed, with supportive seating and an array of high-quality materials that reflected Buick's commitment to comfort. What made the GNX even more impressive was its exclusivity. Only 547 units of the GNX were ever produced, which makes it a rare collector's item today. This limited production also adds to its mystique, as it was not only a powerful machine, but also an extremely coveted one. Owning a GNX was a statement of both taste and performance, and it helped elevate Buick's image as a performance brand during a time when American automakers were often seen as lagging behind their European and Japanese counterparts in the performance car market. Owner reviews of the Buick Grand National GNX are overwhelmingly positive, with many owners praising its straight-line speed and thrilling driving experience. One owner described it as the ultimate muscle car of the 80s, stating, "It was a car that could take on anything on the road and leave it in the dust. The GNX was pure power, but it also had a smoothness that made it a joy to drive." Another owner reflected on the car's sleeper status. "The best part about the GNX was that it didn't scream, 'I'm a performance car.' It could easily surprise someone who thought it was just another Buick." However, like many high-performance cars, the GNX did have its share of drawbacks. Some owners have mentioned the relatively high maintenance costs associated with the turbocharged V6 engine and the specialized components that were unique to the GNX. Additionally, while the car's straight-line performance was legendary, its handling capabilities were not quite up to par with more refined performance cars like the Chevrolet Corvette or Porsche 911, though this was a minor concern for most enthusiasts who prioritize power over cornering ability. The Buick Grand National GNX also became a symbol of the rebirth of American performance cars, especially in the face of the growing dominance of foreign sports cars. In a decade where muscle cars were often seen as relics of the past, the GNX showed that American automakers still had the ability to produce world-class performance machines. The Audi Quattro Coupe, produced between 1980 and 1991, stands as one of the most influential cars in automotive history. What truly set the Quattro apart from its competitors at the time was its groundbreaking all-wheel drive AWD system, a feature that would go on to revolutionize the performance car world. Originally developed for rally racing, where traction is crucial, the Quattro's AWD system made it an unbeatable contender on both dirt and tarmac, cementing its legacy as a game-changer in motorsports and beyond. When Audi first introduced the Quattro, it was a revelation. The coupe was powered by a turbocharged 2.1-liter inline-5 engine, producing between 200 and 220 horsepower, depending on the model and market. This might seem modest by today's standards, but in the context of the time, it was a powerful engine capable of delivering remarkable performance. What really made the Quattro special, however, was the Audi-designed AWD system that sent power to all four wheels, providing unmatched grip and stability in challenging driving conditions. In the early 1980s, most performance cars were rear-wheel drive, a layout that was great for handling on dry, smooth roads, but lacked the traction needed on slippery surfaces. Audi, however, pioneered the use of all-wheel drive in a production car, and the Quattro proved to be incredibly effective in a variety of conditions. The Quattro's AWD system allowed it to handle rain, snow, ice, and gravel with ease, giving it a clear advantage over competitors that struggled in adverse weather. The Quattro's grip on the road was revolutionary, and its handling was ahead of its time. Audi's involvement in the World Rally Championship, WRC, is where the Quattro made its most significant impact. In 1981, the Quattro debuted in rally racing, immediately making waves with its performance. Audi's success in the WRC was unprecedented, and the Quattro became the car to beat in the rally world. Audi's innovative technology and powerful performance allowed the Quattro to dominate the competition, winning numerous championships and helping to establish Audi as a powerhouse in motorsports. The Quattro's all-wheel drive system was a major factor in its rally success, proving that the technology was not only revolutionary for the street, but also incredibly effective in the most demanding motorsport environment. In addition to its AWD system, the Quattro featured an aggressive, angular design that made it stand out in a crowd. Its wide stance, bold front grille, and distinctive boxy shape gave the car an unmistakable presence on the road. Audi's design team created a coupe that was as functional as it was attractive, with flared wheel arches to accommodate the wider tires needed for better grip. The Quattro's design elements were functional, not just aesthetic, reflecting its rally-bred roots. This aggressive look, combined with the Quattro's innovative performance features, made it a truly iconic car of the era. On the road, the Quattro offered an exciting and exhilarating driving experience. Thanks to its all-wheel drive system and turbocharged engine, the Quattro delivered impressive acceleration and handling. The car was quick off the line, reaching 60 miles per hour in just over 6 seconds, and it provided a level of stability that most other cars of its time couldn't match. The Quattro's handling was sharp and responsive, allowing it to carve through corners with precision, whether on the open highway or winding mountain roads. Inside, the Quattro was relatively simple, with a driver-focused cockpit and a utilitarian interior that emphasized performance over luxury. Owners of the Audi Quattro were quick to praise the car's driving dynamics and its capability in all conditions. One enthusiast who owned a Quattro during its peak described the car as a true game changer, noting that it was the kind of car that made you feel like you could drive it anywhere, in any weather, and it would perform flawlessly. Another Quattro owner remarked on its rally pedigree, saying, "I always felt like I was driving a piece of motorsport history. The Quattro was so much more than just a car. It was an experience, and it made you feel like a racing driver every time you got behind the wheel." However, like any performance car, the Quattro was not without its drawbacks. The car was relatively heavy due to its all-wheel drive system and robust construction, which sometimes affected its overall agility. Some owners also noted that the Quattro could be difficult to maintain, particularly the early models, which had a reputation for electrical issues and mechanical complexity. But for many, these minor issues were a small price to pay for the unique driving experience that the Quattro offered. The Audi Quattro's legacy extends far beyond its time on the road. It forever changed the landscape of performance cars, introducing AWD technology that would later be adopted by many other automakers. The Toyota AE86, produced from 1983 to 1987, is one of the most iconic cars in automotive history. A part of the Toyota Corolla family, the AE86 stood out for its lightweight construction, rear-wheel drive layout, and exceptional handling, which made it a favorite among driving enthusiasts, especially those involved in drifting. The AE86, also known as the Corolla GTS in markets like the United States, wasn't the most powerful car of its time, but it more than made up for it with its incredible balance in driving dynamics. At its core, the AE86 was a simple, no-frills sports coupe that delivered an unforgettable driving experience. Powered by a 1.6-liter four-cylinder engine, the 4AGE, it produced a modest 112 horsepower, but its relatively low weight, just around 2,000 pounds, meant that it was plenty quick on its own. The car's 5-speed manual transmission and precise communicative steering gave drivers a connection to the road that few cars in its class could match. What truly set the AE86 apart, however, was its rear-wheel drive configuration, which made it ideal for drifting, a motorsport that would come to define the car's legacy. The AE86 became synonymous with drifting, especially after its appearances in popular motorsports and media. In Japan, it was the car of choice for many amateur and professional drifters due to its responsive chassis and the balance it offered between handling and power. Its rear-wheel drive layout made it the perfect candidate for the art of drifting, where controlled oversteer and rear-wheel slides are essential. The car's lightweight design and easy-to-control suspension made it incredibly forgiving for beginners, yet precise enough for advanced drivers to push the limits of performance. This earned it a loyal following in motorsports, where its performance in drift events and mountain pass racing made it a beloved model. The AE86 was also featured prominently in the Japanese anime and manga series Initial D, which helped elevate its status to cult hero in the drifting community. In the show, the main character, Takumi Fujiwara, drives an AE86, honing his skills as a mountain racer and drift king. The portrayal of the AE86 as an underdog hero car resonated deeply with fans, solidifying its place in automotive and pop culture history. It became the symbol of an era and a generation of drivers who revered skill over power, precision over sheer speed. Beyond drifting, the AE86's lightweight design and agile handling made it a fun and engaging car to drive on everyday roads. Its small dimensions and nimble chassis made it perfect for tight corners, mountain roads, and urban environments. Despite its simplicity, the AE86 offered a driving experience that was pure and direct, with minimal electronic intervention and mechanical complexity, which many modern cars have lost in favor of comfort and technology. Owners of the AE86 often praise its ability to bring out the best in a driver. One owner noted, "There's something magical about driving an AE86. It's not the fastest car on the road, but it feels like you're part of the car. Every turn and every slide. It's a car that rewards you for your input, and that's why it's still so loved today." Another enthusiast described the car as a true driver's car, one that's all about the experience. It's lightweight, raw, and just so much fun. You can't help but smile when you're behind the wheel. While the AE86 was a blast to drive, it wasn't without its challenges. Its modest engine output and relatively primitive suspension meant that it wasn't the most comfortable ride for long-distance cruising. Some owners also reported rust issues and the need for regular maintenance, especially for cars that had seen heavy use on the track or in drifting. However, for those who appreciated the car's rawness and simplicity, these were just part of the ownership experience. Today, the AE86 enjoys a legendary status in the car community. As a collector's item, it's a highly sought-after model, especially among those who admire its historical importance in motorsports and drifting. The car's rising popularity has led to an increase in value, particularly for well-preserved examples or modified versions that have been restored for drifting competitions. Its status as a drifting icon and pop culture phenomenon ensures that it remains a beloved car decades after it was first produced. The Toyota AE86 is a testament to how a simple, unassuming car can leave a lasting impact on both motorsports and automotive culture. Its balance, rear-wheel drive layout, and engaging driving experience have earned it a place in the hearts of enthusiasts around the world. For anyone who appreciates the art of driving, the AE86 remains a timeless classic, one that continues to inspire and thrill drivers to this day.